Prime Minister Modi arrived in Hiroshima to attend the G7 summit. He will have a slew of bilaterals, including with Kishida, the Japanese Prime Minister, Macron, the French President, and Rishi Sunak, the British Prime Minister, on the sidelines of the G7. He's also expected to meet Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky in the backdrop of the Ukraine conflict. This is the first time the Prime Minister will be meeting President Zelensky after this conflict began. He's also expected to address sessions at the G7 on issues ranging from gender equality to climate change.
You got a selfie?
I got a selfie. He shook my hand, which was exciting. He's really real. This is my first time seeing him. I am kind of speechless. My heart rate is through the roof right now. Yeah, it's exciting to see.
I got picture. I got also a handshake, and very warmly he listened to me. It was such a proud moment for me.
What did you tell the Prime Minister?
I said he make us proud and we all welcome him from our heart. And he has made India the Vishwa Guru and we are very proud of him.
हमने उनके साथ गुजराती में मतलब केम छो. So he said गुजराती में केम छो मजामा छो, and he also responded केम छो भला मजामा छो. It typical Gujarati. Oh my God! It to see him such a bright face in just in front of me.
Really a proud moment.
Proud.
You're seeing him for the first time?
Yes. This time, Modi ji for the first
interaction.
Yes.
I'm so happy. I'm Indian, so I get the first citizen, or maybe the Prime Minister. So I'm so happy, and I get in Hiroshima in Japan. Very, very happy.
Okay. What about you?
I'm very happy. I got a chance to meet him, talk to him, and he was very patient. He spoke to me, so I really feel happy now.
So what did you tell him? When you said that you spoke to him?
My father is a very big fan of Modi sir, so I told him that my father would be very happy today that I'm talking to you. So he asked me, what's your father's name? And he blessed me, so I am very happy now.
We are now inside the Hiroshima Memorial Peace Park. Remember, Hiroshima is a city which was completely devastated and destroyed in 1945. It was on August 6th, 1945, that an atomic bomb exploded in the skies above it. That structure that you can see, and I'll ask my camera person to pan and show to you, is locally known as Genbaku Dome. Genbaku, in fact, means atomic bomb in Japanese. And these skeletal ruins of the Hiroshima Memorial Peace Park will act as the backdrop of this crucial G7 summit. The world leaders will be walking in this park. They will be interacting with those who have survived the atomic bomb blast that took place in 1945. The big message that will be coming from here, right in front of this devastation piece which is standing behind me, is that of peace. Can there be peace talks in the backdrop of a live conflict between Russia and Ukraine? Just look at it. And this is what people in Japan tell me, that it is important to send a message that this building remains have been preserved, and it shows how it looked immediately after the blast. It is estimated that 200,000 people died within a few months of the explosion. This dome will be serving as a backdrop of this historic summit in Hiroshima. Compared to the atomic bomb which hit Hiroshima in 1945, the nuclear missiles held in silos and submarines today are far more powerful weapons. Ukraine, of course, will be on top of the list as far as the agenda is concerned, and the G7 leaders are hoping to send a message to Russia that there'll be more sanctions against it, that Russia cannot continue with its open threat, regular threat of tactical use of nuclear weapons. Japan is hosting the summit, of course, as I pointed out, but the presence of Indian Prime Minister will become important because it will be here only that the Gandhi bust will be unveiled. Mahatma Gandhi, the biggest apostle of peace, will be established inside this park. This is the bell of peace. And if you look at what is written here, we dedicate this bell as a symbol of Hiroshima aspiration. Let all nuclear arms and wars be gone, and the nations live in true peace. May it ring to all corners of the earth to meet the year of every man, for in it throb and palpitate the hearts of its peace-loving donors. So may you too, friends, step forward and toll this bell for peace. This has been dedicated on September 20th, 1964. That is the Bell of Peace. And this is the park where the world leaders will be taking a walk. The message certainly would be that this city of Hiroshima, which was destroyed in 1945, today, 78 years later, stands as a testimony of what it means when an atomic bomb explodes. Will the world leaders show the roadmap? The message certainly would be when Zelensky, president of Ukraine, arrives here, he would be interacting with leaders of the global south. And India represents that global south of 120 countries, which are developing countries and underdeveloped countries. India's voice, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's voice, will become very, very crucial, talking about the roadmap in view of energy security, in terms of economic security as well. Do you think it's important to remember Gandhi, particularly in these times? These are troubled times for the world.
Well, he is a very, very great person, and he is a historical great person of the world. So Japanese people learn when they are in elementary school. We learn about him in junior high school, and he did very no violence, no resistance, and many times he got into jail, but he didn't stop it. So he is very great and make India a wonderful place. And now for Japanese people, his statue will come to Hiroshima. It will be a very big point for peace, I think.
And do you think it's important to talk about what Gandhi stood for in these times?
I think so.
In the backdrop of Russia-Ukraine war?
Well, I think that's the same. No violence, no weapon. I won't make them take them back their peaceful. So I hope so.
This is the International Media Center inside the G7 venue. You can see journalists from all across the world present to try and get details on what will be the big takeaways from this G7 summit, which is happening in Hiroshima. Journalists who are filing stories and perhaps even sending directly. You can see there is the research groups also that are present here. This is Japan, the Hiroshima summit. A historic turning point is what Julia and her team is saying. Julia, hello. You're calling it a historic turning point because of the significance of the city, Julia?
Yes, for sure. I think it was an excellent choice to pick Hiroshima as the host city. First of all, it's Kishida's hometown, which is a personal touch. But of course, what is on everybody's mind is the very real historical event that happened here close to 80 years ago with the nuclear. The nuclear event. So I think that's a very topical issue, obviously, right now, and a great choice.
Yes, and topical because of over 450-day war and continuing between Russia and Ukraine. Do you think Japan, and particularly Prime Minister Kishida, will be able to convince the world leaders to come on a possible roadmap for nuclear disarmament?
I do. I think that they've shown very strong solidarity, and already with certain bilateral meetings that have happened to date, I think that they're really working towards a partnership. And as even with Modi arriving and being here in person, he at the G20 normally, but also here coming with the G7 leaders, showing maybe a little bit of kind of solidarity and an alignment to potentially further that movement of peace and ending the war in Ukraine, and really showing a strong stance against Russia on that.
Tell us about why Prime Minister Kishida chose Hiroshima for this G7.
I think that Prime Minister Kishida wanted to express his hope to the world without nuclear weapons, and also he wants to put on emphasis on the non-proliferation and extended nuclear deterrence provided by U.S.
The messaging that is coming, particularly with the fact that this is being hosted by Japan and they have chosen Hiroshima as the city.
Yes, of course, Hiroshima is a very symbolic city, and Germany is very sensitive to nuclear threats. We have been living under nuclear threats for a long period of time during the Cold War. The idea that the war in Ukraine can escalate into a nuclear dimension is very present in Germany. So the symbolic meaning of a place like Hiroshima is very much seen in Germany, particularly in these times when we are talking about nuclear threats, not only in Europe under the impression of the war in Ukraine, but also in the Asian Pacific region.
For the next 48 hours, this entire center will be buzzing with activities as journalists set the agenda in their respective countries, try and send details of what matters to one and all.